Let me ask you about everything you are seeing in the country right now. You are seeing these federal agents going in. Donald Trump was on Sean Hannity's show last night when he was asked about what he's going to continue to do with this. Let's just listen together to what he said.
We'll go into all of the cities, any of the cities. We're ready. We'll put in 50,000, 60,000 people that really know what they're doing, and they're strong, they're tough. And we could solve these problems so fast, but as you know, we have to be invited in.
So that last part was interesting, Senator. As you know, we have to be invited in. This is a bit of a walk back for the president. We're going to send troops in. We're going to go into all these democratically controlled cities if they let us.
No, that's new. Because here's a president who generally does not care whether there's a legal basis for whatever he's doing. And that is why I'm very glad that the Department of Justice Inspector General Horowitz is going to be investigating the legal basis for what happened at Lafayette Park, as well as what's going on in Portland, to investigate the kind of training that these federal agents, whoever they are, we do not know who they are, and also the tactics that they are using and the legal basis for those tactics. So, that's why the inspector generals and the independence of the inspector generals are really critical at a time when we have an unfettered, lawless president who thinks he can do anything he wants.
So you make an interesting point here. That's why the independence of inspector generals are so important. They're the ombudsman. They're the people inside the department who keep things honest. But take a look at all the inspector generals that the president has targeted on April 3rd. Michael Atkinson at the Intelligence Community Inspector General. April 7th, Glenn Fine, the acting Defense Department Inspector General. May 1st, Christy Grimm, the Health and Human Services Principal Deputy Inspector General. May 15th, Steve Linick, the State Department Inspector General, who is closing in on an investigation. May 15th, Mitch Beam, the acting Inspector General for the Department of Transportation. This is a problem. When we're talking about a road to authoritarianism, you take the one person in the department responsible for making sure they follow rules, and Trump just gets rid of them.
Exactly. And then, of course, aided and abetted by what I call his chief legal stooge, that would be the Attorney General. Now, you would think that the Attorney General would be right in there saying to the president, you can't do these things. It's unconstitutional. You can't attack people who are exercising their constitutional right. But no, we have an aider and abetter Attorney General. So it's even more important that the Inspector Generals are able to do their jobs.
You and a number of senators are getting together to try and create legislation to stop the federal government from being able to go into these places. Although I was talking to Lawrence Tribe earlier in the show, and every constitutional expert I say, you don't have to be a constitutional lawyer. This is written into the Constitution, the right to protest. The president is portraying this as if our cities are burning and that these are violent protests. In Lafayette Square in Washington, that just wasn't the case.
And this is why not only do we have to go to the courts, which is exactly what the Attorney General of Oregon is doing. And yes, her request for a temporary restraining order was denied, but then she's still going for a preliminary injunction, et cetera. So the legal processes and all the lawsuits that have been filed as a result of what's going on in Portland and whatever else the president has in mind will proceed. And of course, most importantly, at a time like this, the people have to exercise their responsibility to vote. And I think absentee ballots are going out now, mail-in ballots, and they better get those ballots in ASAP, because you also have a president who wants to try and stop mail-in voting by not funding the U.S. Postal Service. So he is doing everything he can to, in my view, rig this election. And at a time when he's not paying any attention to the pandemic. So all of these things are such major distractions, although, I can't call attacking our democracy, our democratic institutions, a distraction. But we have a pandemic that is raging, 4 million. I was talking with a friend who lives in Amsterdam, and she said they are looking at the United States with a great deal of sadness and pity. That's where we are, because we have a president who is totally incompetent in what he's doing.